Hi guys, welcome back to the VPN Racks YouTube channel. Today, we're diving into a very dark topic, online dating scams. Hi guys. In this video, we're about to uncover shocking online dating statistics as well as real-world cases of online dating scams. Stay tuned so you don't fall victim and don't become a target yourself.
Imagine meeting someone online who seems perfect, charming, attentive, and genuinely interested in you. Weeks turn into months of heartfelt conversations, shared dreams, and the promise of a future together. Then, just when everything feels right, they ask you for money. Maybe it's for a plane ticket to finally meet you, an emergency medical expense, or an unexpected financial crisis. Your heart, now deeply entwined with theirs, compels you to help. But as the money leaves your account, so does your dream of love, replaced by the stark realization that you've been scammed.
First, let's have a closer look at who these online victims are. It is projected that by 2025, over 107,000 people will fall victim to the scams. That's right, over 1 in 15 people are going to be affected by this.
Let's break down the demographics. Individuals aged 30 to 59 are expected to represent 50% of victims. This age group is particularly active on dating platforms, seeking serious relationships and often possessing substantial financial resources, making them prime targets for scammers. Let's talk about gender. Women make up 65% of reported cases, which is quite significant. Scammers often target women due to perceived emotional vulnerability. However, it's important to note that men, although fewer in number, often experience higher financial losses. This is partly because men are more likely to engage in investment scams where the amounts of money involved are typically larger. Lastly, let's not forget seniors. Those aged 60 and above are becoming increasingly vulnerable, predicted to see a rise to 20% of total cases by 2025. As more seniors embrace online dating, their lack of familiarity with digital security can make them easy targets. Scammers exploit their loneliness and trust, leading to devastating financial and emotional consequences.
Now that we understand who the victims are, let's have a look at what the type of scams are.
First up, we have romance scams. These are the most common and devastating. Scammers create fake profiles to build romantic relationships with their victims. They invest time and effort to gain trust, often grooming their targets for months. Once they've established a strong emotional connection, they start asking for money. This could be for a supposed emergency, travel expenses to meet in person, or in any number of fabricated crises. In 2022 alone, nearly 70,000 people reported being victimized by romance scams, highlighting the widespread nature of this deceit. Next, we have catfishing. This involves scammers using fake identities to lure victims into emotional relationships without immediately asking for money. The goal here is to gain the victim's trust and sometimes even to manipulate them into sharing personal information that can be used later for other types of fraud or blackmail. Catfishing can also serve as a setup for more complex scams down the line. Phishing scams are another common type. Here, scammers use dating profiles to gather personal information from their victims. This information is then used for identity theft. The victim might receive links to fake websites designed to capture their login credentials or other sensitive data. Phishing scams linked to online dating have grown considerably, with more and more people finding themselves exposed to identity theft. Extortion scams, often referred to as sextortion, involve scammers luring victims into compromising situations such as sending explicit photos. The scammer then threatens to release this information unless the victim pays up. Reports of sextortion have increased more than 8-fold since 2019, with younger victims being particularly targeted. Social media is often the initial contact method for these scams. Lastly, investment scams. These are increasingly common, especially with the rise of cryptocurrency. Scammers pose as successful investors and convince victims to invest money, which is then stolen. Many victims report being lured into fake investment schemes through dating profiles. These appeal of quick financial gains often blind victims to the scam until it's too late.
With that said, let's look at the financial toll of these online dating scams.
Online dating scams not only shatter hearts but also leave a significant financial toll on their victims. By 2025, total losses from online dating scams are projected to reach a staggering $2.5 billion. The average financial loss per victim is also expected to increase to $5,200. To put things into perspective, let's look at some case studies. The first case involves a 68-year-old widow from Florida who lost her savings of $500,000 to a scammer posing as a retired military officer. Over several months, the scammer convinced her to send money for supposed medical bills and travel expenses. In another case, a 34-year-old professional from California was scammed out of $200,000 by an individual posing as a cryptocurrency investor. The scammer used an elaborate scheme involving fake investment returns and urgent financial needs to gain the victim's trust and money. These examples highlight the significant financial impact of online dating scams. The Federal Trade Commission reported total losses of $1.3 billion in 2022 alone, up from $547 million in 2021. This represents a nearly 80% increase in annual losses, highlighting the growing scale and effectiveness of these scams.
These numbers were quite unbelievable, right? Well, let's dive into something worse. What tactics are being used by these online scammers?
Scammers are becoming increasingly sophisticated in their tactics. Emotional manipulation is a common strategy, and scammers are investing time to create deep emotional connections with their victims. According to the FTC, nearly 70% of romance scams reports involve emotional manipulation tactics, with victims often being groomed over several months before financial requests are actually made. Long-term grooming is another tactic. Approximately 40% of victims have been engaged with scammers for over 3 months before being asked for money. Scammers work to isolate their victims from friends and family, and around 30% of victims reported feeling pressured to cut off communication with loved ones who might have detected the scam. Technological methods are also on the rise. Fake profiles are a staple, with nearly 80% of reported scams involving the use of fake profiles. These profiles often use stolen photos and fabricated details to appear convincing. Deepfakes are also an emerging threat. Reports of deepfake usage in scams have increased by 15% in the past 2 years. Scammers create realistic fake videos or audio recordings to deceive their victims. Social media exploitation is another common tactic. According to the FTC, 40% of scam reports in 2022 originated from contacts made on social media platforms. Scammers use phishing links and malware, with around 25% of scams involving these methods to gather personal information or gain access to victims' devices.
Now it's time for us to talk about how you can protect yourself from being victim to all of this.
First and foremost, you should recognize red flags. Be cautious if someone you've just met online asks you for money, even if their reasons seem legitimate. Scammers often create urgent and emotionally charged situations to pressure their victims into sending more money. Verify identities. Use video calls to confirm the person's identity, because scammers often avoid video calls or make excuses to avoid face-to-face interaction. If someone consistently refuses to video chat, consider it as a warning sign. You should also report suspicious activity. If you suspect you're being scammed, alert the platform and report the user. This helps prevent others from falling victim to the same scammer, and report the incident to the relevant authorities such as the Federal Trade Commission. You should also use privacy settings on dating apps to control who can see your profile and personal information. Be cautious about sharing personal details too. Scammers often use the information they gather to manipulate or steal from their victims. Before you move further, educate yourself and others. Share information about online dating scams with friends and family. The more people are aware of these tactics, the harder it becomes for scammers to succeed.
Online dating is a wonderful way of finding love, but it's really important to stay vigilant out there. Now that you know how to protect yourself, it's important that you protect yourselves and your loved ones. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, share this video with your friends and family, and subscribe to our channel for more tech updates. And if you're comfortable, you can also share your experiences with us in the comments below. Remember, stay safe out there.